everyone, welcome back or welcome if this is your first time. I hope everyone is feeling well and healthy and ready to get moving. Today we're going to be doing a flow in which we are releasing. So whatever it is that you need to release, whether you're under a lot of pressure and you just feel like you need to let go of a few things, whether there's something in your life that's just stressing you and you feel like you just need to release and let go, whether you've got anxiety about the future and you just want to release, not try to think about it too much, not try to control too much, and you just want to release. This should be helpful for that. Often we can be holding a lot of tension in the body, and really this tension is coming from something in the mind. So we can be, like I said, stressed about something in our lives, whether it be the past, the present, the future. And the more we stress about that, the more the stress comes into the body. So we're really going to focus on releasing tension in the body as well. But while we're doing that, I want you to also consciously just state for yourself that you are releasing in all forms, spiritually, physically, mentally, everything. Just release. And at the end of this, you just leave with just you. You're not holding on to anything anymore. It's just you, and you're gonna go ahead with your day. So yeah, I hope you guys are going to enjoy this one. We're going to start off seated. So if you want to put one of those blocks or pillows, maybe even books under your bum to just elevate you so you can sit up taller, that can be very helpful. Often it's quite helpful if the hips are above the knees, so you can use that. In my tips for virtual yoga class video, I mentioned these tips, so please watch that if you haven't already, just for certain things that I might forget to say in each video, and just things to keep in mind, because I'm not going to be there to help you. If you need any blocks and straps, please have them nearby. If you don't have blocks, you can use pillows or books. You could also use maybe a chair sometimes, and if you don't have straps, you could use a belt, a tie, a towel, really anything that you can find that is long and strappy, as I always say. I don't know if you might need them today, but like I say, just always keep them nearby just in case. Oh, and yes, also remember to have a blanket or a jersey nearby if you need it. All right, let's get started. So we start off as usual, just becoming centered, coming into this moment, coming into this space. So often I like for us to acknowledge where we are in the physical to help us acknowledge where we are in the present. As I've said many times before, often our minds can be all over the place, can be in so many places, except for where we are in the present moment. And often that's a large cause of anxiety or stress. So just starting off, grounding, becoming present, imagining the space around you, seeing the space around you. Maybe find some things that you can hear, maybe something that you can smell at the moment, feeling yourself with the ground below you, having your eyes closed, or if you like to keep them open, you can do that as well. Bringing the awareness closer and closer towards the body until we eventually reach the body, and we just sort of scan just quickly on the outside and then coming within, scanning throughout the body, making sure that we're not holding any tension. This is going to be our first step of release. Well, actually it's our second step. Our first step was coming into the moment. So just consciously releasing each and every part of the body. It will be helpful to scan because often we don't realize where we're holding tension. So checking through the face, releasing through the jaws, the neck, down through the shoulders and the arms. Down through the torso, into the hips, the legs, and the feet. If you'd like to set an intention, doing that here. Maybe you'd like to set the intention to release and to come out of this feeling rejuvenated, feeling lighter, feeling fresh. Bringing the awareness to the breath now, not forcing or changing anything, just breathing. Feeling the air as it comes in and out of the body. Feeling each part of the body that moves with the breath. Your belly, your chest. And then now we start to deepen the breath. We breathe in and out through the nose and we expand the belly as we inhale. And as we exhale, we pull the belly back in towards the spine, releasing all the air out of the nose again. So this is the breathing that we're going to maintain throughout the practice, just deep, slow breaths. If you're familiar with your Ujjayi breath, you can do that. But just to start off with, we're going to just take 3 releasing breaths. So take a deep breath into your belly, allow your belly to expand as much as it can, and then we expand through the lungs as well. And as you exhale, you're gonna let your mouth open. Just release it all out of the mouth. We're going to do it again. So inhale, really expanding through the belly, expanding through the chest, and release. Last time. And now we take deep breaths in and out through the nose. And we're going to maintain this through our practice. So let's start off by rolling through the neck. Bring the head to the one shoulder and we roll, come down. We're going to do some half rolls first. So we end up at the other ear and we just do it again. Make sure the shoulders are dropped. Breathing. And then we're going to end off at the opposite ear from where we started and then release the head back and to the one ear again. So doing half neck rolls now in the other direction. Breathing. And again, stopping now at the first shoulder that we started with, and then we come back to normal. Now drop the head to one shoulder and we place that same hand of the shoulder on the opposite collarbone. And then grab onto your elbow, stretch the arm. Breathe. Bring that hand behind the back and we grab onto the elbow again. and we grow tall. I often like to use my head to push the arm back a little bit, and we're also using the hand grabbing onto the elbow to pull the arm back, stretching through the triceps. And then let's release. We do the other side, so drop the head to the shoulder and the other hand comes onto the collarbone. Breathing. And then we stretch the arm. You can bring the head back up at this stage. Taking deep breaths, we bring the hand behind the back. Nice stretch through the triceps. And then let's release both hands behind us. Inhale, grow tall. Exhale, release forward. The arms come as far from the floor as we can get them. Breathing. And then we come up. Let's twist. So we leave the one hand behind us, bring the other hand to the knee, and looking far behind you. Twisting. On your exhale, we twist. And then while we're in the twist, we try our best to take some nice deep breaths. And let's go to the other side. Exhale, twist. Breathing. And then let's inhale, come back forward, and then we're gonna bring our hands to one side and bring ourselves into our downward dog. Make sure our hands are nice and steady on the mat, palms are flat, and we can walk through the feet here to release through the backs of the legs. Taking deep breaths as we do so. And then end with the opposite foot from the one you started. So we bring both feet now to stillness. And then let's step the feet to the outside of the mat. Hopefully the floor underneath you isn't too cold and is grippy enough. And then we're going to bend the one knee. So we come over to the one side. We should feel a stretch through the inner thigh of the left leg. And then let's go to the other side. So we now bend the other knee. Breathing. And the other side. And last time. Breathing. And then let's bring our feet back onto our mat. And then let's bring the right foot behind the left foot. Get a nice stretch through the ankle. And then we inhale, bring that foot all the way up into the air, and we bend the knee. Breathing. And let's make some nice big circles with this knee. Taking some nice deep breaths. And then let's leave it up in the air, the knee. The foot is trying to get to the opposite butt cheek. Feel the stretch through the hip coming into the abdominals. And then let's straighten the leg and release it back down to the floor. We're going to do the other side. So now we place the left foot behind the right foot. Making sure we're taking some nice deep breaths. Making sure the palms are still grounded. Imagine the air that you're breathing going straight into that calf. And then now we inhale, straighten the leg up into the air, bend the knee. And circles. big circles. We tend to hold a lot of tension in the hips, so it will be helpful to move them and to stretch them. Now bringing the knee up into the air, try to get the foot to the opposite butt cheek. Breathe, stretch the leg and release. Let's inhale, come onto our tippy toes, release onto our knees, child's pose. Taking some nice deep breaths here. Really stretch those fingers forward, bring the bum down towards the heels. Big toes are touching. We're preparing our shoulders now for our puppy pose. So if you feel you would like, you can move side to side. All right, then let's bring the hands together, and then we bring the hands behind the head. Another stretch through the triceps. Breathing. And now we bring the hands forward again. Make sure that your knees are directly underneath the hips. So that should be about a fist width between the hips. And then we're going to stretch the fingers forward and the chest comes down towards the floor. You should have your hips directly above the knees. Breathing. If you'd like to feel more of a stretch in this one, up onto your tippy fingers. If you'd like to feel even more, you bring your blocks, you place them on top of the blocks, and maybe even on your tippy fingers on top of the blocks. And then let's inhale, release the chest forward, the hips forward. And you see the stance that I'm in. I've got my hands a bit far from my body in a variation of our cobra pose. Here you might feel some compression in the back. Just be mindful of how the back feels. If you're feeling pain, then just come down into a Sphinx pose. Otherwise, we're going to have the hands here. And then let's step one foot closer to the body and then the other one. Did I say one foot? I meant one hand. And then now let's start with the hand that we ended with. Step both hands closer to the body. And then again, start with the one that we ended with. And until we get our hands sort of directly underneath the shoulders into a normal cobra. And if you'd like to feel a bit more of a stretch, let's lift the knees into our upward dog. And let's look to the one side, look to the one foot, feel a stretch through the side of the abdominals here. Let's do the other side. Breathe. And then back forward and back into our downward dog. Just take a quick bend through the knees, releasing through the back. And then let's stretch the knees. And then again, we inhale, bend the knees. This time we're looking up between the hands and we're going to step, walk, or jump the feet in between the hands. And then we're just going to stay here, bent over. Let's release the head. Allow gravity to just pull the head down. And if you'd like, let's grab onto the opposite elbows, just sway side to side here. I think this one is called the ragdoll. Just being aware of the breath here, allowing yourself to just sway. You can also just have the hands on the floor or towards the floor and just allow yourself to sway. Right, now we're going to step the one foot all the way out to come into a wide-legged forward fold. And we're going to do the same thing here. Grab onto the opposite elbows and just sway. So the head is still completely released. And in this one, you should feel something through the hamstrings, maybe through the inner thighs. Breathing. All right, let's release the hands, or release the elbows rather. Let's bring the left hand to the right foot, and then the right hand comes up into the air, twisting. Breathing. And then let's release the hand, and we're going to turn over onto the side, come into a low lunge. Let's just stay with the hands on the floor and look up. You might feel that just by looking up and lifting the chest, there's a bit of an increase in the stretch from just, sort of being down here in our hip flexors. Now, depending on where you are, how the stretch feels, you can either stay there or bring the hands to the knee, push yourself up, standing up tall, and then the arms come up, breathing. And then the last stage of this, if you really want to get into those hip flexors, you're going to release the right hand, the left arm comes over. You should feel a bit of an increase of the stretch through the hip flexor. Breathing. And you also have the added benefit of getting a bit of a stretch through the side here. And then let's release. The hands frame the foot. Inhale, and let's stretch the front leg, come into our half split. Breathing. Now the half split, all of us are going to be in a different variation here. You may have your hands closer to the body. You may be up here. Maybe you've got some blocks here. Maybe you've got some blocks here. Maybe your back is straight. Maybe you're bending over the front leg. Wherever you are, as long as you feel the stretch through the hamstrings. And then let's inhale, come forward. We heel toe the foot to the other hand and release. The knee, the foot can be wherever you need it to be, whether it's up at the hand or a bit lower. Just make sure that you're feeling a stretch through the glutes. Let's inhale, push ourselves up. As we push ourselves up, we push the other hip down. And let's exhale, if you like, come down onto the elbows. Take a deep breath. Now, for those of you who are comfortable in this pose, I'd like to offer a bit of a challenge here. We're going to come into a twist while in our pigeon pose. So you're going to bring your left hand or your left elbow to the knee. I want you to make sure that you exhale as you twist. And then maybe you can bring the other hand to meet the left hand, coming into a twist. Breathing. For the rest of us, we're just relaxing in our pigeon pose, breathing. Allow the body to surrender. Release. And then let's bring the elbows back onto the mat for those of us who went into our twist. And you can either stay here or let's stretch out the arms, or just bring the hands onto, the head onto the hands. You can also have a block underneath the head if you're comfortable with that, or a pillow. Breathing. Often we tend to resist the stretch slightly because it can be very intense. So I want you to just make sure that your body is not trying to clench up in that bum. Release, surrender, breathe. Imagine that air that you're breathing going into the part of the body where you're feeling the stretch. And as you exhale, all that tension is coming out of the body. All right, we're going to come out now, bring the hands underneath the shoulders. Inhale, we push ourselves up. And we're going to bring the foot just into sort of a lunge, and then we stretch, come back into our wide-legged forward fold. But of course we're going to do the other side, so let's bring the right hand to the left foot and the other hand comes up into the air, twisting. Breathe. And then we release the hands and we come down into a low lunge. And remember the steps we took here? So first off, we've got the hands on the floor. We just lift up the chest, we look up. See how you feel there. Breathing. And then let's come on to the knee if we like, if we're taking this step. And then the arms come up. And then we release the left hand, stretch over towards the left with the right hand. Breathing. And then let's exhale, release the hands, inhale, and we stretch the front foot. Remember to be in whatever variation of this pose that your body needs you to be in. We just breathe. And let's inhale, come back forward, and we heel toe the foot to the other hand and release. Inhale, push yourself up first. We push the other hip down towards the floor, and we exhale, coming down onto the elbows. Breathing. And for those of us who took the challenge, let's try it again. So now we place the right elbow on the left knee. Make sure you exhale as you secure yourself in your twist, and the other hand comes on top of that hand. Breathe. And then let's release. Find yourself in whichever variation of this pose you're comfortable in. Let's bring the hands underneath the shoulders, push yourself up, tuck the back toes, we lift up, we come into a lunge, and then stretch both legs coming back into our wide-legged forward fold. And then let's release the legs even wider now if you can. And then just stay here. Breathing. Feel the stretch through the inner thighs. Breathe. And then we're going to come into frog pose. So however you like, just bring one knee at a time, or if you can, bring both knees. We're going to bring the knees down onto the floor. And as you can see, my toes are pointing outward. And then you either stay up here, or you can come down onto your elbows, or you can even release down, but I'm not trying to put my head on the grass. In this pose, you want to make sure that your hips are directly in line with the knees, not more back, not more forward. Sometimes I do like to just sort of rock back and forth in this one, so I will permit that one. But if you're going to be still in it, you want your knees and your hips to be in the same line. And we breathe. So like I said, while we were making circles with our knee in our three-legged dog, the hips tend to hold a lot of tension, and if we move them and stretch them, that is a method of releasing that tension. So that would be why sometimes I like to just rock back and forth. But sometimes stillness is also very therapeutic. Just make sure that you're breathing. And then let's bring the knees back together. We might want to move the hips side to side here. Breathe. Ooh, that's a spider. And then let's come into our child's pose, but this time we're going to bring the hands next to the body and just release here. It might be helpful to you if you've got a block underneath the head. Otherwise, just allowing the shoulders to drop towards the ground. If you feel you really want to, you can bring the knees out slightly. If you feel, you're struggling to breathe. But this isn't exactly one that we do with our knees wide apart. And just release, breathe. Just take this time to just focus on the breath and to just allow the body to release. Breathe into the body. If you're feeling any tension anywhere, breathe into it. And then as you exhale, you release it. And then let's inhale, come up. Bring the feet to one side. We come down onto the bum. Let's scooch forward if we need to. And release onto the back. Let's bring the knees in. Give yourself a nice big hug. Release both knees to one side. The head looks over to the other side. You can stretch out the arm to the side the head is looking over to as well. And then let's do the other side. So bringing the knees both to the one side or to the opposite side now. The head looks over. Just a gentle last twist. And then let's bring the knees up, and then the feet are pointing up towards the sky. Grab onto the outsides of the feet and we come into our happy baby. I think I've mentioned this before, but some people find it helpful or easier to grab onto the insides of the feet. You can do that if you can't reach for the outsides. And then here we're going to be pulling the knees towards the armpits. And same thing here as with our frog pose. You can either enjoy some movement here, maybe swaying side to side, or you can enjoy some stillness here. Let's release. And now we come into our Shavasana. So that can either be with the knees together, feet wide apart, toes pointing inward, or you can come into your butterfly variation with the knees pointing out, the feet together, or straightening the legs, feet laying open. In all of these variations, we've got the chin in towards the chest, we've got the shoulders away from the head and the palms facing upward. This may be probably the most important pose, especially of the sequence, so enjoy it. You can do a quick scan from the top of the body all the way down to the toes, releasing. Once you've done your scan, just surrendering to gravity, feeling yourself melting into the ground. And now that the body is completely relaxed, we come to relax the mind, and we do that by focusing on the present moment. And in this present moment, all that we are doing is laying on the floor and breathing, feeling the air as it comes in and out through the nostrils, feeling as the belly rises and falls. If you'd like to stay here for longer, please hit pause. Otherwise, if you're waking up with me now, wiggling through the fingers and the toes, flopping the feet side to side, flopping the head side to side. And whenever you feel ready, bringing up the knees if they aren't already up. And we roll over to one side, push ourselves up when we're ready, and coming to seated. Give ourselves a moment. Let's bring the hands to the sides. Inhale, the arms come up. Exhale, the hands come down to the heart. We do it again. Inhale, arms come up. Exhale, the hands come down to the heart. And biggest breath, arms up. Exhale, hands come down to the heart. Taking some time to thank yourself for dedicating this time to your mind and to your body. And I thank you for joining me. Namaste. Thank you again. I hope you guys really enjoyed this one. I hope, like I said in the beginning, that you're going to leave this feeling lighter, feeling refreshed, and just feeling like you can really tackle anything that's coming because you ain't got anything weighing you down. But otherwise, yeah, I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your week. If you haven't already, please remember to subscribe, like the video, especially if you are feeling a bit better after this. And yeah, share the video with your loved ones. Many of us these days really could use a release, so maybe this will help someone. And that's my biggest hope, really, that I can share this with you guys and that someone out there is being helped. That's the same with all of my videos, but yeah. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your week, and I will see you again next week.